What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CTC show. It's me, Chris, and I'm hanging out today with Maga Mark, DJ Chop Saws. Cue my intro. And welcome back from the intro. This week we are hanging out with Maga Mark. Mark, what's going on, man?
What's up? Thank you for having me. This is my first ever podcast that I've been on, and happy to be here.
And I'm happy to have you, brother. So, I mean, obviously we've been talking a lot before this, so I want it to feel organic, right? Like, because we were talking so much before, obviously, we started filming. And let's see. Obviously, like, you know, the biggest thing that we talked about before was how you got into YouTube. Finding anyone with more of that right-winged feel in our state is a hard sell. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into this? What made you into this?
Well, I guess I would start at when I first got interested in politics, and that was in 2016 when Donald Trump came around. And I, like JD Vance, was not a Trump supporter. Took me some time. I ended up voting for Trump in 2020 and 2024. And really around 2020 is what, I don't know, what some would say radicalized me in a way, right? I used to be for a lot of things. Like, honestly, I used to be a pretty socially liberal guy. But I started to notice things like, you know, the LGBTQ stuff. I mean, especially having kids, you know, you see that stuff in your kids' schools, the flags and all that. I mean, it's going to make you feel away. So anyhow, sort of all these feelings were boiling up. I watched a lot of right-wing content. And I eventually realized, I said, this is what I believe in. I mean, this is how the world should be, is how these people say it is. So, and then when it comes to my YouTube channel, I started doing that because I had a YouTube channel previously that failed, essentially, got 5,000 subs, but never really like blew up. And one day I took a crack at, you know, making right-wing content. So I made Maga Mark and made some videos for fun. One took off, and ever since then, I've been 100% serious, doing at least 10 to 15 hours a week on each video.
That's sick, man. I mean, I love hearing that. It's funny, like, that's another thing that, you know, we agree on is your stance on, I was pretty socially liberal at one point myself as well. And then you see people, I think, abuse the acceptance, right? You like, it's the give a mouse a cookie type of aspect to it. You allow people you allow people to come into the sphere, and then what they do is it's never enough. It's never enough. And then it becomes a little bit more and a little bit more. And then you push the envelope and push the envelope. I totally agree with you on that. That's a reason why, you know, about us, obviously, we haven't released a video in 5 years. It's been a long time coming, and we've been planning on coming back, but we were doing like events and stuff. And, you know, I won't say his name, but somebody in the room used to bring it up to me about how this hedonism and people were just like kind of doing a lot, and that bothered the hell out of me once I really thought about it. So I hear you on that. And I voted in 2016, but I didn't vote in 2020. That's news to everybody. Well, it's not news because I had a video before that said I'm not voting for anyone. So,
why did you not vote in 2020 out of curiosity?
I think for me, it wasn't even about Trump or Biden. It was like more of, if you look and watch some of the old, if you watch like the final episode of Connecticut Casual back in around that time, I just went through this like massive wave of depression. That's why the show stopped. You know, to even like break that now, I went through this massive wave of depression, did not care anymore. Didn't care what was going on, was just, yeah, when COVID hit, it really kind of, it bothered, all this type of stuff bothered me. And I remember you were just getting, like, it was just like getting pulled into too many directions. Like all that summer was exhausting with, like, you get out of COVID, then you had BLM, which, let's be real, you know, not a great time. And then you see like this jibber jabbering old man Biden who, it was just becoming ridiculous. Wasn't sitting with, obviously I would never vote for Biden. But I just went through this like wave of depression. I didn't want to be anywhere near politics, content creation, anything. I just stopped. And we just ghosted, and that was it. And I streamed the night of the election, was one of my last like real live streams I did, because I built such a good audience on Twitch at the time, which is now the biggest anti-Semitic streaming platform on earth. I just stopped. And after that night, I just stopped. I remember when Biden won, I was just like, oh, well, that goes life, right? And then for me, it was afterwards, was just recognizing how it was becoming like so hard to get by. I was the kind of guy who would always have my debts paid. I always like got things done. And I remember just like during that time, the pressure of the world was on top of me. It was like credit card debt, bills are crazy, everything's nuts. And then as the years went on, obviously you strive and persevere. I didn't let it get to me. And then you see this stuff with Trump, like we talked about before. And when he got shot, as like I started really paying attention. I remember being like, because he was very much like, I don't know if I'm going to run back in like 2022. I don't know if I'm going to do it. And then it happened. And I was like, oh, I hope he wins. And then when he got shot at Butler, I was like, yeah, dude, I'm full send back in. Like, I want to know everything that's happening. Why would they try to do this? What the hell's going on? So at that point, I have not looked back. I've been really paying attention, started to really kind of see like the writing on the wall with all this stuff and how I feel like I was on autopilot for 4 years and realizing how like Abbey Gate happened, in Afghanistan. And I was super disappointed. That's when I knew 100% that like, cause I come from a big military family. I wanted to go to the Marine Corps in high school, and I ended up getting a hole in my knee, so I couldn't join any military. Yeah, did you see this big fat scar in my knee? It's like a huge hole in my knee. And
situation here, buddy. I have a huge hole in my head, and I wanted to join the Marines, and I couldn't.
Yeah, dude. I went to PT. I was in Middletown, Connecticut, and I was training PT. All of my friends went to the Marine Corps, like every single one of them. Like my best friend, he's coming home tomorrow. Not from he was in the Marines. He had kids. He ended up staying in North Carolina. And he was my last friend to go. And I remember just being like, damn, I wish I could go with my friends. Because like it was either like, for me, it was like the Marines or nothing. Like, you could do a couple of like lessons, but it's like all my friends were Marines. And to hear like, I remember like, the recruiter was just like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You're gonna be on medication, and then I tried and I couldn't run after my knee was a little better, and I couldn't do like the things to pass a couple of the tests, and it just sucked. So it's like all my friends went, and then I never tried again because it was like they were all gone. Like I was gonna do the buddy system with my boy Joe, and then it just sucked. That's like one thing in my life that I'm glad I don't drink alcohol anymore, because you drink alcohol, you mess your knees up. But yeah, that's a little about that. I mean, yeah, that's the only, that sucks. Like that's like my old, like biggest regret. But yeah, man, I mean, so you had your other YouTube channel, and now you do more of like the historian sides of MAGA. You're not really like all these other political commentators at the moment who are covering the current events of today. So what makes you so interested in the history of the movement, and why you like to, dive into that part? Because there's so much to talk about today. Obviously, so many people are talking about it, but what makes you so fixated on, like, even looking back some of your videos, you're still in like the Hillary Clinton era of Trump. I don't think like even going back, like have you covered like the dreadful Jan 6 yet?
No, and I'm still thinking of a way to do it that is one in YouTube's guidelines, because I have opinions about that are not, something that's allowed on YouTube, about January 6th.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to kind of see how I could do that. But as far as why I like making these types of videos is like I said, I'm a huge viewer of a lot of YouTube channels, especially a lot of conservative YouTube channels. And a void that needed to be filled, in my opinion, was somebody documenting all the amazing things that led up to right now. I mean, if you think about it, between 2016 and right now, pretty much before that, I mean, there's nothing compared to this in terms of like drastic changes in our country and, crazy things happening and, great things happening for our country. I mean, it's just there's so much, and I feel like it needs to be recorded, because one day, what they say, history is set by the people who write it, right?
Yeah.
One day, I hope not, but one day, what if the establishment writes the history? They're going to write this all wrong, that Trump was a dictator, this and that. At least what I'm doing is showing what he's actually doing, and not what the left says he is. I mean, he's not this monster that they make him out to be, and that's essentially the point, is to show that he's not a monster, and in fact, he may be one of our greatest presidents ever.
No, I totally hear you on that. I think that the one thing about Donald Trump that I love is that he is, like, everybody says it, he's not a politician. I mean, I think he's a normie. He's a normie. Yeah, he's like you. But I think that the thing about Trump, I think in Trump too, I see a little bit more politician in Trump. Not in a bad way at all. I know, like there's a give and take about what I think about this administration versus Trump 1. Trump 1, it was like all gas, no brakes. It was like people were getting fired every day. It's like you turned on Trump, you see it in the news, like Trump fires this person, that person, this person, that person. And it was just everywhere. Trump 2, I feel like, is a little bit more subtle. You even have, this whole situation with, what was it? The what's that stupid app they use? Signal and Signalgate. And even this dude didn't even get fired. It's like he got moved, reassigned.
Oh yeah, he's the U.S. ambassador, the UN ambassador now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like there's just a little difference between. I think it's that Trump needed. I mean, again, this is the political take that everybody in this space says, right? A lot of people say is that he needed that 4 years. He needed that 4 years to like kind of cook, understand, watch what's going on. And then he does. He comes out swinging. And he came out swinging in some of the best ways possible. And then there's things like, there's things currently that's happening in the Republican base that I can't stand. Like, so you have, number one, you have this whole Trump ran on deportation, mass deportation. And people, obviously, like our media, they like to be like, it was only for the worst of the worst. He lied. He lied and said it's only for the worst of the worst. Yeah. And that's not true. He said he's going to start with the worst of the worst. That's number one. But the problem is that now there's things like the Dignity Act that they're trying to pass, which are it's a Republican bipartisan bill presented by Republicans. And the Dignity Act, it's not great. The thing is like they're trying to do not amnesty dignity, but it's amnesty. And it's, sorry, go ahead.
Can you explain to me what that is? Because I've heard of that bill, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So the Dignity Act, and give me 2 seconds so I can ad lib it, but I'd rather kind of show and actually get it right, because it's supposed to be more of about illegal immigrants that are here that have been here for 5 years. They haven't at least 5 years. They have less than 2 misdemeanors. They're established workers, and that they can stay here. And the problem for me is that in the actual lines of it, it also shows that you can't do federal background checks to see if they're in a gang. Like, you can't check their criminal history. And that's literally just amnesty.
Yeah, it's exactly what Obama did, dude.
Yeah. So
yeah, and who do you know who the sponsors of that bill? Like, whose bill is that?
That is she's the Cuban chick from Florida.
Is there a Republican co-sponsor? I'm gonna look
it's literally it is. She is a Republican. It's Maria Salazar and Veronica Escobar. Yeah. So it is the representative from Florida and the Democrat Veronica Escobar from Texas. They have presented this bill, and I just, it's more of like my problem with immigration and why, like, I didn't like when Trump was just like, yeah, we got to take care of the farmers. We have to take care of the farmers. They have to have workers. It's like, okay.
Good impression, bro.
The problem with it is that, number one, I don't know, when I was right out of high school, I grew up in a town over, and they'd hire kids out of high school to work on the farm. Like, you could work on the farm. You could be in high school and work on the farm. Okay. There are dudes in like these rural areas, especially down there, that don't mind farm work. So one of the problems with the Dignity Act, and hold on, and this got covered by Matt Walsh in The Best Way like 2 weeks ago when it was all around. So it says the Dignity Act is saying that if someone is listed in a police or DHS gang file, that alone can't be used to block their application under this program.
That'll never make it through the Senate, dude.
And but then you also, but the thing is like, under that alone, that whole Maryland man hoax, that dude would never get deported. The Maryland man, that shit would have never been allowed. Maryland. That guy, dude.
Yeah, I covered him in one of my videos. Yeah, that dude's bad news. In a lot of ways, he's bad news.
And it says, any felony conviction disqualifies an applicant. But how do you know? Like, if you can't pull up like if you can't pull up prior histories of things that these people have done, okay, I don't care if I do care if they're a felon here. But if they also like murdered someone back at home in their home, and we can't pull that up, and we can't find out what's going on.
Yeah, it kind of matters.
It matters.
Yeah.
It completely matters. So they can't be. It's insane. That's the problem. Is that this? Let me find this whole thing so I could show it to you.
You know if Republicans are getting on board with this, like other than this Spanish woman?
There are some.
Wow, I can't believe that is crazy.
That's the thing. And I watched. I know me and you have both talked about. We both think a certain commentator is funny. But I watched their debate last night with another commentator who I think is awesome. And, Nick Fuentes, I'll just say it. I think he's hilarious. I mean, I don't care what people say, but he debated Alex Jones last night. And then people were like, Alex asked him, like, do you think that there's anyone in the Republican Party that's worth it? And he said, no, you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater on this one because they're all turning on it. And also, like, Charlie Kirk also brought it up that he got phone calls after the big, beautiful bill. It's just like, okay, well, I also need you to like help push this mass amnesty. So we have like this whole thing with this Maria Salazar, who is, in my opinion, you can't call yourself an American. You're a you're a Cuban national. I also I'm like completely behind this whole fact of like that if you weren't born here, you shouldn't run for office. Like you shouldn't hold like, especially a national office seat. You should not be able to run for this. Maybe, okay, you want to be on your local town city council, whatever. Okay, like that's even a stretch for me to say, but it's a problem. So you have Mike Lawler from New York, David Villardo from California, Mario Diaz-Blart from Florida, Carlos Jimenez from Florida. And these are Republicans that are supporting this bill.
Donald Trump signaled that he would be open to exemptions for certain workers, but he is not going to sign anything that has amnesty involved.
That's the thing is they're trying to pass this as it's not amnesty, it's dignity. It's like let's read between the lines. Okay.
Yeah, but I think what he's saying though is that anything having to do with amnesty, he's not doing it. That's what I think. I don't think he'll sign that. No way.
I hope not, because the thing is, I just found I found her clip.
Steve Bannon won't let him, dude.
You know,
the war room will go after him ruthlessly, like they have with the Epstein stuff. Like,
we'll get into that for sure about Epstein. You think that someone is not letting him talk? Like, do you think that
when I said let, I mean like the backlash wise, right? Because Trump cares about what his people think, like especially his diehard people like Steve Bannon, and like Bannon is known to on his show he'll suggest something that Trump should do, and then weeks later Trump will do it.
I mean, yeah, but like look. This is a problem, right? Is that
do you like Steve Bannon? What do you think of him?
He's okay. I mean, I don't mind him at all.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I think he's pretty rough. I like how strong he could be on stuff. Granted, I don't pay attention too much on Steve Bannon. I don't mind him. I don't hate him. I don't think he's like a piece of shit. I just pay attention to a lot of like the real elected figures that are representing like my beliefs, right? And like, oh, hold on, we're gonna play this so you can see it.
If you are undocumented and you have been in the country for more than 5 years, you do not have a criminal record, you're working and paying taxes, you can come out of the shadows with no fear and apply for the dignity status. That means they will pay a fine of $7,000 over 7 years, buy their own health insurance with no access to any federal programs, and contribute 1% of their salary to the United States Treasury. That is $50 billion plus. Just do the math. In return, they will never be deported. They will be able to go home for Christmas or to go bury their mother and come back to the United States to continue working and paying taxes. It gives them a dignified life in the promised land.
Sounds like amnesty, though, right?
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded watching that. I can't, like, how is she a Republican? How I don't understand.
That's the thing is like, there are, when they talk about these like right wing, remember how we talked before we started recording about right wing grifters? This is that is a right winged grifter. You obviously,
but yeah, I agree.
You don't believe in like what the base wanted. When someone wins all 7 swing states, gay retards. When someone wins the popular vote, all 7 swing states, the Electoral College, everything has this crazy base. You know what the people want, and how you completely get past that. Also, not for nothing, how illegal aliens aren't supposed to get state benefits, and they get them anyway. So you're telling me that these people can't get this dignity, which is really amnesty, come here, they can come to our state and probably get Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, whatever. They can probably get whatever.
Can I read you guys something a little interesting about this woman, Maria Salazar?
Sure.
She was one of the only Republicans to vote to establish the January 6th commission. That's all you need to know about this woman. And also, she received a Trump endorsement. She also endorsed Trump, and and her voting record is one of the worst in the Republican Congress. With Trump. So,
I mean, dude, yeah. And the problem is that we're like, that's why, I mean, even Johnson was like, stop taking people from here to your administration, because you can't trust like that the agenda that he wanted will get passed, because even though we have a majority, they are still full of establishment rhinos, man. They're all in there.
I just don't understand why Trump would endorse someone like that.
Let's be real. He probably wanted the Spanish vote.
Yeah, the Hispanic vote. I got it. Yeah, but we got Marco, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like Marco. I mean, some people don't like him. I don't mind him. Marco Rubio. I think that even his what's it called? His when they made them all go and talk the other, like a couple weeks ago, and you had this douchebag, what was his name? The Democrat from Maryland, the one who went to El Salvador. What was his stupid ass name?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's just like, my biggest regret was to vote for you. He's just like, well, if that's your biggest regret, I'm doing a great job. So I mean, like Marco, he's definitely come out of his shell on the shit talking, and I think that.
Oh, Chris Van Hollen.
Yeah, Van Hollen, piece of work. Van Hollen is. But yeah, I mean, like, and she's just one of many. Like I watched Marjorie Taylor Greene on Tucker Carlson. She talks about how everybody hates him, like that people like actually hate Trump, and that they'll like yes man to his face and like yes I love you, and then they really hate him behind closed doors. But it's like, it just kind of goes to show that like people, they're all grifting. Everyone's grifting, right? But
except for the Tea Party, in my opinion, like you got Jim Jordan, even Speaker Mike Johnson, like these are like real conservative Republicans. Like in my opinion, they're solid guys. There's some solid guys there.
I like Johnson. I mean, like I think there's a lot of people who don't like Johnson. I mean, I don't like Johnson because he did support a lot of this crap to Ukraine. He did push it. I mean, like I get it. He was like the new speaker trying to make things happen, but wasn't like, there were certain things Johnson has done in the past that I wasn't a fan of. And I think like that's the thing is you succumb. Like we talked about before, you flip flop, right? Like people flip flop. It's like you don't know if they're with what the people want, or are they just get by to get by? And I think sometimes Johnson, he confuses me because I like what he says, but he also seems like he's somebody who can also get by to get by. I don't like that. Stay true to your value, because that's the problem for me. And that's why you'll see like some people like that will hold on to their values. Like you had Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, very much like they stuck to their values. I mean, like they're both more libertarian than they are conservative, in my opinion. And they stay true to their values. Like they didn't vote for the big beautiful bill. They aren't into a lot of the things that Trump wants. I mean, like I could respect it to a point. I also think that it's like, what he ran on, what the people wanted. If your state went red and voted for Trump, like obviously like your state wants that. So, you also got elected by the public. You also are somebody who is supposed to be a public servant, not just like your values at some point aren't supposed to. It's hard for me to say, because like there's public servant and then there's like sticking true to your guns. And I think that the problem is for me is that you have to read the writing on the wall, because you're still a public servant. You're still somebody who is there representing what the people wanted. And if you can't hack it, then don't fucking be in office. Like you shouldn't be there if you know that people wanted this, but you can't vote for it, like, you know, this guy's voting for like no tax on tips, extending the tax cuts, you know, doing this, doing that, doing mass deportations, funding ICE to make sure they can do it, finishing the wall, all that stuff. You know, he talked about, I watched every single campaign of Trump in this past election, from him telling the damn rocket story every single time to him, you know, exactly saying what he wanted to do this entire time. So nobody should have, people should not be surprised. And people who are like, you know, and this brings me to like the Epstein thing, if you want to get into that at all, because I saw you covered it a little. Yeah, sure. People like to say like Trump ran on Epstein. So he didn't run on Epstein. No. And it's like, that means you weren't paying attention. You know, you're listening to what the media told you to listen to, and that's not the reality of it. He did not run on this. I mean, even in the Fox News, and that's why I say, oh, we're working on a video right now called like "You Don't Hate the Media Enough," which is about even Fox News. Like they clip things to how they want to clip them, and I mean, obviously the Democratic established media does it worse. But you know, she asks in that interview Epstein files, and he goes, "Yeah," and then in the full extended one is just like, maybe not that one as much as the others, because, you know, there's a lot of shit in there. Yeah. And
he said that same sentiment in a few other interviews too. He never, he always gave a caveat. He always said, we'll see, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, but the problem is too, like, you go back into like, because you are like documenting a lot of the like historic Trump moments. The one thing he did do that wasn't great is that he did kind of talk a little shit about Bill Clinton, about the island, talked a little shit about Prince Andrew. And when you do that, you're putting the expectation that you're going to drop a bomb, right? That you're about to say it.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Well, here's my opinion on that, on those two comments. I think Trump said the Prince Andrew one and the Bill Clinton one at one of the CNN town halls. And I think it's almost showing that he has nothing to hide. If back then he was willing to like call them out for things that people are now saying he may be doing, I mean, think of it like this. If you're a drug dealer, you're not going to like go to the police and say, hey, that guy's a drug dealer, because now you're both sort of exposed, you know? So I think that Trump doing that, like, it was stoking the flames, but it was also showing he has nothing to hide, in my opinion.
And yes, I hear you on that. I mean, like, you even said, you know, before about how like the MAGA base loves him. He would never turn against his supporter. He did call his supporters like dumb.
I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that? No,
it's not the attorney general. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters, and Comey before him, and it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. The sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
Yep.
You know, and that turned a lot of people off. That turned a lot of people. Like, granted, look, Alex Jones even said last night in his thing is that, you know, he thinks Trump is great and that there's a reason why this is happening. But it's it's like, did he crack under pressure with that? You know, is he getting bombarded from all sides, and he, you know, everyone he sends a nasty tweet, everybody sends a nasty, you know, text or says something they don't mean. I mean, it wasn't great. I don't give a shit, right? Like it's not like I know the guy personally. So it's like there were people who were like, I'm just so heartbroken. I'm so heartbroken.
I'm not gonna lie. I did feel a little offended after I saw that because, you know, I use the name MAGA. I mean, that's part of my identity. And my number one issue was not Epstein, but it was something I wanted to see. And for him to call people like me, you know, dumb or whatever, just because we want to see it. I mean, I don't know. I didn't like it, but again, Trump has done so many amazing things that, I mean, that's like on the bottom of the list. You know what I mean? To me,
Yeah. No, I mean, you're totally right. But and at the same point, two things can be true at the same time. Trump can be doing a lot of great things. He can also have said something pretty stupid. And I get like there's a lot of pundits who got upset about that. You know, I named a couple before we even like did the episode of people who I watch who talked about that whole thing. And I think everybody just wants to know. And the more we're talking about it, the more it's getting exposed. And now the problem is, what I'm thinking, I want to know your opinion on this, is that if it gets released tomorrow, will this be good enough?
For everybody, probably not, because you know, no matter what is released, as Trump calls them, the woke right or whatever, they're never going to be satisfied because they're always going to think something else is being covered up about the Epstein files. Because there's so many different levels to Epstein. Like on one hand, he's a operative for Israel. On the other hand, he's doing honeypots and blackmailing people. On the other hand, he's this socialite in New York. So I don't know. I just think that no matter what is put out, I think they're always going to want more. Me personally, I'll be satisfied if we can hear what Ghislaine Maxwell said during that deposition, or if she can produce a list, or if some actual people, powerful people, can get arrested, I'll be happy. But again, I don't think a lot of people. Maybe if he arrests people, maybe everyone will be satisfied. But that's about it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's got to happen, is that people need to start going down. Like, you got to start taking some of these like deep state people down. I think that's like happening. Hopefully, people are like, oh, Obama's going to jail. Like, because of the whole, and the thing is that if Obama goes to jail, then Trump would have gone to jail. Yeah. You know, the only way that Obama goes to jail is if Obama gets, I believe this is true, is if they impeach Obama, he technically loses his presidential immunity. That'll be the only way.
They'd have to convict him too.
Yeah. So you would have to like do this whole. It's like I forget what it's called, but it's you have to do like the whole process of impeachment, which like you can put articles of impeachment, but you still need 3/4 of the vote to make it happen. Like Trump got impeached, like 3 months into his first presidency, and yes, like the motion to impeach passed, but the like removing him from office, like ejecting him from the presidential powers, that didn't happen because you need 3/4 of the vote, meaning that you would have to get some Democrats to side, and that's not going to happen because the one thing Democrats do is while they're all psychotic in their values and the things they say, they all unanimously will vote against anything this man does. But Hillary Clinton can go down, and she should go down.
Just real quick about the Obama thing. Most recent Supreme Court ruling about Trump with his presidential immunity, that also covers Obama. And I've heard right-wing legal scholars say that there's pretty much 99.9% chance nothing happens to Obama. But James Clapper, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, that's possible. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Like that, if Trump didn't go to prison because of all this stuff, but because he had presidential immunity during some of the things they tried to take him out for, and the Supreme Court said, under like this. He has presidential immunity for the things he does in office. Because if anything, Obama should have gone to jail for killing those fucking kids in Syria. Okay? Like, he didn't go to jail for that. Like, what is he going to jail for? You know, nothing. Like, a president, it takes a lot for them to go to jail. Like, I would like to know, did Bill Clinton go to Epstein Island during his time as president? Or
Trump claims 28 times. That's what Trump's now saying.
But if they were all during his presidency, would he have immunity? Because that would be insanity.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
You know, like, does that fall under that?
I don't
Like
know. Well, Epstein did visit the Clinton White House like over 10 times. So, I mean, that's on the record.
That is true.
I doubt, though, that Clinton would be stupid enough to go to the island while he's president. But, I mean, Trump has been saying that, like, for the past 2 days, that there's, like, actual proof that he's been there 28 times. So, I mean, I think there's a real case to arrest Clinton.
I wouldn't put anything past Bill Clinton. I mean, look at Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah. But I mean, that whole thing, I mean, hey, it's whatever. In my opinion, seriously, in my opinion, it's whatever. I mean, it's not like he raped someone. I can't say that because I have a kid around.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, okay, you know, it was a scandal, but a BJ didn't kill anyone.
No, I more mean like that. Maybe he's stupid enough to go to the island. If he could do that, then maybe he would be dumb enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he could do that, then maybe he would go, because you obviously don't think straight, right?
Yep.
I think that Hillary could go down. All those people can go down for this, and I would like to, the problem is if we don't start seeing it, then no one's going to drop this Epstein thing, and like, I mean, like, there is that whole talking point, like, oh, if he was on the list, it's like. Then the Democrats would use it against him. It's like, that's not what we're worried about. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about the Epstein files coming out and then finding out Trump did that. Like, that's not what I think people are, but like, that's not what I'm worried about. I more want to know what's got you so shaken up that you won't release it. Like, what is on there, you know, because is it like, you know, and I was talking about this before I started seeing this come up, because I remember me and my wife were together and she was talking to me about it. And I said, I think what happened is that Kash Patel and Bongino got these files. And when they opened these files up, there was also a picture of like their parents on the top, and that there was a this and there was a that. And it was more of like, here's the files, but also here's everything about you. You know what I mean? That's what I think it is. Because it's like, there has to be something else. Like, there's no, oh, he was a Mossad agent for Israel. Oh, he's this. And like, there's people who are now coming up with the most extreme conspiracies about this. Like, oh, what if it's intergalactic demons and that space travel? What's your theory?
I have my own little conspiracy on this that's not based in reality.
Go ahead.
But it sounds okay. What if Trump met Melania through Epstein?
I mean, that is a conspiracy that people think.
And if you think about it, Melania, her whole initiative as first lady in Trump's first term was all about human trafficking, ending that. Yeah. And if you look at the picture of when Melania and Trump first met, I mean, she looked like she was, you know, fresh 18. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a theory, conspiracy theory. I'm thinking in the head of Trump. If I were Trump, right, like, I would protect my wife at all costs. You know what I mean? Because she's going to get dragged through the mud. If that comes out, she'll get dragged through the mud. Even though she was a victim, they'll portray her as that. You know, it'll still that'll be the news cycle. You know? So,
yeah.
There's one theory. And then the more plausible theory that's like rooted in some factual evidence is that little black book. It had all of Trump's phone numbers. It had a lot of Trump's family's phone numbers, a lot of Trump's friends' phone numbers, and a lot of random politicians, people who definitely didn't do bad stuff. And perhaps Trump is trying to save innocent people from being grouped in with horrible people like, like Epstein, because people assume that black book is a client list when it's really just an address book. That's all it is. It's already leaked. You can find it right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is, because the black book has been released. That's not really where I think people want this the most. I think because it's more of these like, if you look at old pictures, you could see like Epstein had files and all this stuff of like with people's names on it. There's pictures of all this stuff. There's victims who have come out. I mean, like, I'm not worried about it because you had like Virginia Giuffre. Is that how I say her last name?
It's now it was Virginia Roberts before she died. She got remarried.
Okay, so she also exonerated. She said she never saw Trump on the island, and she was unfortunately trafficked. And heavy subject matter. I get it, but it's more of like, a victim before she passed away was interviewed by also an opposition news network who still she had said that she never saw Trump on the island.
The prosecutor in that case in 2007 came out and said Trump was the only one in that friend circle who cooperated with us. I mean, there's just a lot that kind of points to that. I don't think he did anything nefarious personally.
I think it's either that. I think the obviously the most credible thing about it all for me would be that this was a blackmail situation, and I think that he doesn't want our intelligence agencies to know. Like our intelligence agencies don't want it to be out there that they were probably using young girls to incriminate and blackmail people with other countries, probably, Mossad, MI6, all those people. It was more of like, I think that if that book came out or that the files came out, that it would just more paint our national security in a bad light, that they were complicit in child sex trafficking, for the interest of blackmailing oppositions. And other countries were in on it too. And
that is terrible.
It is, because exactly, it is terrible. But I think that's because it's the only plausible thing that I could think of.
But it's like you have no other better way to like get someone, like to blackmail someone, bro. Like that's terrible.
Think about it. What's like, oh, you killed this person. Well, if you, all right.
It is a very luring like thing.
Because it is, though. It's the most luring thing. Because, all right, listen, if I got convicted of a crime of killing somebody, both of you would probably be like, what did that guy do that Chris would kill him? Yeah. If I got convicted of something terrible like that, you'd be like, fuck him, kill him, shoot him. Like that is the absolute, is indefensible. Unless you're, some dude in Hamas who likes to be with young kids. But
yeah, that makes sense.
That's like, because it's in the actual Western world, because I guess there's countries out there that don't mind doing shit like that. In the Western society of life, that is the absolute most unforgivable sin that anyone can do. So when you blackmail somebody with that, it is life ruining. It is the like we interviewed Pop Squad. There wasn't a person ever defending a pedophile caught ever. You look at like some of these like predator catchers are some of the most subscribed people, and like obviously they get a. Yeah, it's because it's like To Catch a Predator, Hansen versus Predator, The Takedown, all these types of shows, because we want to see disgusting people go down. We have this weird thought in our head that there's sick bastards out there, but the reason we enjoy the content is because we like justice. We like that people like that are humiliated publicly and stripped away, even like, in our state, that you can kill someone in a car accident and it could be a complete accident and you're going to jail for 4 years because for vehicular manslaughter. If you're a pedophile in Connecticut, you're going away for 2 and you're probably getting out in 3 months. Yeah.
They have therapy for that shit in Connecticut. It's fucked up.
It's disgusting. So the thing is that when we live in an unjust world that isn't punishing people the way that we want them to be punished, because we know that this is the most disgusting thing on the planet, we enjoy the content that at least will shame them and take away everything, because no one's going to hire you. You're not going to get hired as a pedophile. No one's going to want to be with you. You're a pedophile, and we are happy that that person is the scum of the earth, whether you're rotten in prison, which we would rather you not be a burden on our taxes and just put you in the ground. And I don't care what anyone says about it, but we're at least happy that you'll never be able to make it in society again, because it's documented, right? And that's the thing, is that why these files are probably not being released. Because even if you're complicit in this, you're just as bad as them. You are, in my opinion, if the CIA was doing this, they are the pedophiles. You had to go find what you thought was an attractive young person and fed them to predators. Like, you're just as bad. And
I just want to add to that. There's a lot of credibility to that theory, because it's documented that the American government has been doing honeypot operations forever, since J. Edgar Hoover.
That you could.
Sorry, I have a speech impediment.
No, you're good, dude.
They used to lure powerful men into hotel rooms and have them hook up with hookers or gay men or whatever. And the FBI would use that against people. Like, that's like documented shit. So we've been doing that. And I wouldn't doubt it, is that as time went on, if they just got sicker and sicker with it, they're like, you know what? We need to expose these people the worst way possible.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. I
mean,
never really thought of that theory.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also in media, right? Like, we also know that exists in media, that those honeypot operations, you ever watch Godfather 2? You ever watch The Godfather?
I'm ashamed to say I've never watched The Godfather, dude.
Mitch, I am not shocked. You never watch anything. But in The Godfather 2, they do the whole thing. The mafia, blackmails a senator, has him hook up with a hooker. They're in the bed. They drug him. He wakes up. She's bloodied and massacred right next to him. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of this. Oh, you just owe us a favor. Don't worry about it. Like, the fact that, like, in The Godfather is one of the most respected movies of all time. People love that movie. And that's a scene in that movie. That's a thing in that movie. So we're already accustomed and know that this type of stuff happens, because we all know that, like, the government probably puts a little stuff out there, puts little feelers into the media to see how the public reacts to it. Yeah. Oh, well, they like this. Well, they like that. Let's throw a little shit in there. And that's kind of what happens. That's why it's the way to systematically see if we like something or reject something, so that they can come out with something. And that is, it all comes back to, no matter what, nobody has ever done something, the things that Epstein has done, and has been able to have the public go, let's give him a shot. Like, that'll never happen. That's why that list will probably, and like, the thing is that I'm over it. I'm not over it, because I'm at this point where I'm more of like, I'm done hearing about it, because it's probably not going to happen. Things probably not going to come out. And if it does come out, it'll be at the last bit of this dude's presidency. And if he does that at the last day, like the last days of his presidency, then I'm going to be really scared about what's on the list. Because it's like, that's what I'm scared of.
Well, I think Trump is going to make right in the end, solely because maybe it's a selfish reason, but Trump really wants his legacy to go down as one of the best presidents. And if he doesn't do, sorry to hit my mic. No, if he doesn't do something with these files, I mean, I don't care what anyone says, this will be a stain on his record. I mean, people will forever say, but he covered this up. Yeah. And I think Trump is a self-preservationist, and I really believe he's going to make right on this. I really do.
I mean, all we could do is hope and pray, right? Because it would be nice, but I really believe that that's exactly what it is that nobody will ever be okay with it. And that our government is, it's, you know, we always say slavery is our government's, our country's biggest shame. There's always another, you know? So, you know, and then like, you now you have like the Democrats that are also talking about this. It's just like, okay, brother, you guys didn't bring it up for 4 years. Let's not have you guys bring it up. Like, I don't know how much you use X, but I mean, Ilhan Omar put your pedophile protecting president is loves to play golf or whatever. And it's just like, I'm not going to lie to you, but you're going to talk. Yeah, she said the leader of the pedophile protection party hard at work misusing millions in taxpayer dollars to funnel funds for his new private golf course. Corruption in plain sight. Yeah, okay. You know, Ilhan Omar, you know who else used millions of taxpayer dollars on stupid shit? The Democrats. The Democrats, you know, I'll never forget when they were going through all like the USAID stuff and they're like, trans comic books in Peru. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying to me right now? That type of stuff. And it's like, you wonder why those last 4 years were so hard on our dollar. But like, that's what's happening. Like, it is rough. And like, and people try to use this whole like, they're trying to use everything against Trump too. If you've noticed, it's like, oh, grocery prices are still up and housing is still a problem. It's like, dude, no, I remember Mitch, when you bought your house and I told you, don't buy your house until the interest rates go down. They haven't fucking come down. You know, it's like, you can't do anything. Nothing's going to change until Jerome Powell gets his head out of his ass. But the Democrats try to use that as like Trump is doing a bad job. It's just like, no, dude, like there's things that are sometimes our government is so fucking bloated and has all this type of shit. And we need all this like other people to make fucking decisions. It's like, no, it's like we elected this guy, let him fucking do what he's got to do. And I hate when there's this whole block, like that whole time when like, I'm so glad that that's over. Like, oh, district court judge blocks this and district court judge blocks that. I'm so glad that type of shit stopped. And I haven't heard it, at least. Yeah, dude, it needed to happen. So we were talking a little bit about what happened in New York this past Sunday. Like, what are your thoughts on that and how this was all reported?
With you, I don't like to pay attention to stories that have to do with mass pew-pews because I just don't. Like, I don't pay attention to it. What I do know about it, though, is that it was originally reported as a white man, a potential white man. All the news stations were saying, even Fox at one point was saying that. And it was clearly a freaking black dude. I mean, come on.
I know.
Like, he literally has black people hair. There's no way to discern.
No, 100%.
Other than that, I don't know how many people were killed. I don't want to know. Well, you could say it, but I don't care to watch that.
I know there was like crazy theories already after the fact that like, oh, it was on the 33rd floor and like it's a signal and all this, like, there's crazy theories already.
The 33rd floor because of the Texas, the Las Vegas shooter.
It's something about like
that the shooter offed himself on the 33rd floor. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, like,
and something about Blackstone, like being near Blackstone. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. According to this dude's like note that he left, he had CTE. He was trying to attack the NFL. Yeah, I guess he shot himself in his chest because you can only diagnose CTE when someone dies. So he wanted to leave his brain intact for examinations.
True? Is that what he wrote?
Yeah.
Wow.
He had like a bunch of like SSRIs and all that type of stuff in his car. He was on a lot of medication. He was like a high school football player. And again, a lot of the story could have probably changed. We're doing this in real time, talking about it. But yeah, he left his brain intact so that they can examine, because he said he had CTE. CTE is like a lot of like concussion. Like, you know who Aaron Hernandez was? Yeah. Aaron Hernandez had CTE, and that's why he killed those two people. Yeah, he was in Bristol, dude. Yeah, I mean, did you ever do you remember like when COVID like was right before COVID happened in 2020, the Aaron Hernandez documentary came out on Netflix, and I remember, dude, I laughed so hard. I'm not gonna lie, when the guy comes out and he goes, I was romantically involved with Aaron. Yeah. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
To do. He wasn't gonna come clean. I mean, he couldn't. Me and Aaron always had a great relationship and bond, but in middle school, it had progressed to just more than friends. We had shared some sexual activity together, and it continued into high school, but we didn't want anyone to know. We were just in complete denial of what was really going on. We prided ourselves on sports, and if anyone knew that we had gay sexual activity together, our lives would be ruined. It didn't matter what age we were. We wouldn't even know how to live with ourselves. But I think it was something that we both were naturally born with.
So there was always this speculation that he like had a problem and that he would like do that with guys. Look, I don't try to disparage the dad, even though the dude's like a piece of shit. But yeah, he like apparently had a little bit of homosexual tendencies. He's got a little touch of the gays. Yeah, yeah. Him and his best friend who came out was just like, me and Aaron, we were weirdo. I don't get it. But the reason why, I understand why like people don't watch, and like you're not alone. There's a lot of people who don't like to watch or the news on that type of stuff because it's uncomfortable. It's sad. Like no one wants to hear it. But the problem is like when people politicize it, and then it's always every situation that this thing happens. We need control on gun laws. We need to, and like here's the thing. New York City has the strictest gun laws in all of the country. Okay. You can't have an assault rifle in New York City. You can't buy one. You can't get it. You're not allowed. You know what made him worse than killing those people? He broke the rules. He brought an assault rifle. You know, he lived in Las Vegas. He traveled to New York with an assault rifle and he killed people, meaning that gun laws don't do jack shit. How did he get it? He drove almost 3,000 miles to do that. So, and the thing is that now you have the Democrats pushing for gun control. Well, all right, here's an example that I want to put in the situation. You have a psychopathic weirdo or people who are mentally ill. I guess he has CTE like that. It's still not confirmed because there's no autopsy that come out yet from what I've seen. Now, the problem is that you have people who are mentally ill. You have these people who are like, who do these things. Like you don't see like a normal guy go into a place and just commit mass murder. Like that doesn't happen. Like people have problems. You're either a criminal or you're mentally ill. Right. So, okay. Now, we are the most armed civilians in the entire planet. We have the right to bear arms. We have the right to protect ourselves. And what would happen if there's a national assault rifle ban? Are you going to kick in everyone's door and violate their liberties that way and then take their weapons that way? Because that's not how this works. Or are you going to do this gun buyback program and expect... Well, yes, but yeah, they did do it with gold. But now think about this. You are this like strong Second Amendment person. Is that person going to do that? And then not only that, are these criminals who get their weapons from black market sources they're not going to turn in, fake gun, like unregistered guns. The criminals aren't going to do that. And what stops a bad guy with a gun?
Hopefully 5 good guys.
Yeah, exactly. Good guys with guns. So when you start disarming all the good guys, now only the bad guys have guns. That's a problem. No. And then, like, again, we were talking before, you have Zoran, the psychopath Mamdani in New York, who says, number one, he goes, it's a shame that people would use this tragedy to politically, and use this as a political agenda to attack me. but then also goes around and politicizes this himself that says that he needs to push a national a national assault rifle ban. It's like, you first off, number one, you're a politician. Apparently you're everything you do and everything you say when you run for office is going to be politicized. You're also, really like a triggering figure to a lot of people. People don't like you, especially the rest of us in the country. We don't like you. The people who just voted for in so far into the right, we don't like people like you. We literally voted to stand up against people like you. You're a bad person. And this is all going to come full circle, right? So you have this guy who does this. And then there's other people who say, well, maybe we should do things that are deterrents that would stop people from doing things like this because that guy killed a cop. Now, if we backtrack a couple months ago, we had the Ohio senator who pushed, huh? No. So an Ohio senator pushed a bill a couple months ago after this man decided to kill a retired police officer. And he pushed that we would be doing, I'll tell you right now, it was Bernie Moreno. So Bernie Moreno had a bill that would have sentenced somebody to a minimum of 20 years if they assaulted a police officer. Nobody wants to see police officers get killed. They protect us. They protect and serve. Like that's a thing. If they're not going to do it, who's going to do it, right? And which would have been a deterrent because you would think twice. Even if I punch this cop, am I want to go for 20 years? No. But do you know who blocked that bill?
The Democrats.
Senator Chris Murphy.
Our very own.
Yeah. So you have Senator Chris Murphy, who I can't stand, and his reason why he banned that bill was because Donald Trump pardoned January 6ers for attacking officers. So a man who, and then another funny thing is that you have this psychopath, Gavin Newsom, goes on one of my favorite shows, the Sean Ryan podcast, who also said, and he says on that show, there's a lot of people who would be great for president. Chris up in Connecticut is one of them. Well, let me just tell you something about Chris from Connecticut, not me, Chris Murphy, the absolute jackass he is. That man decided to block a bill that would have probably deterred this man from going to New York City and killing an officer. You would have think twice. People think twice if you know the consequences. Because the thing is like, everybody thinks twice before there's a consequence. There's cops that are getting shot and killed far more than I'm seeing people getting shot and killed by police that are just like innocent people. More criminals are killing cops than cops are killing like innocent civilians. And Chris Murphy could have had a bipartisan bill that would have, at least put a more deterrent, that we would have seen less assaults on officers. Look at the LA riots. Remember we covered that in live time on that live stream? What were they doing? They were assaulting police officers, throwing rocks, throwing all this type of stuff. And people are like, oh, they were just throwing rocks. It's just like, no, we're using rocks lightly. All right. These were big ass pieces of cement that could have like killed police officers. But again, did Chris Murphy denounce that? No, he didn't. It's always about January 6th.
Unfortunately, the people of our state love Chris Murphy. He has a very big approval rating amongst Connecticut voters. Same with Richard Blumenthal, which I don't even begin to understand that one.
He's stolen valor.
Yeah, I know.
He like said he served in Vietnam. Like,
yeah, dude.
Come on, you're a liar.
My dad served in Vietnam. I don't like that guy. I don't like Chris Murphy. But they're what we got. And do you remember during Sandy Hook the way that Murphy handled that shit? How he politicized the fuck out of that? Yeah. I mean that was disgraceful, dude. I mean on the first speech he gave after the shooting, he gave a speech like pretty much like behind the school or whatever. And one of the first things he says is, we need gun control, blah, 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 blah. Nothing about the families, the this, the that. At least Obama gets some credit that he came and he, hugged the families and he talked about them and whatever. I mean, this Murphy guy, I mean, he doesn't care about people. He cares about furthering his political career. He wants to be President Murphy one day. I'm telling you.
My mission in life is to get this show, and to get both of our shows for that matter, big enough that we can be an influence at least in our state. That we can at least, number one, get people to understand, like, you don't have to just be right. If you have values that aren't mine or Mark's or Mitch's, okay, understood. But also realize who you're voting for. Because that dude does not care about you. Like Murphy, I believe I'm almost positive like he like defaulted on a mortgage or some shit like that in Cheshire. I hate seeing this dude like asking for money from his donors. He's like one of the least net worth people in the Senate because he's terrible with money. And you let this guy just, represent our state, make laws about our state, talk about our state. Chris Murphy's one of the worst. And the fact that he also endorses Mom Donnie, who wants to defund police, wants to destroy the greatest city, one of the greatest cities in all of our country. Well, once was one of the greatest cities. Now it's a hellscape. And he's only going to make it worse. The problem, like in what we were saying before, is that influence, when he wins, or if he wins, that influence does trickle down. We're only a state over. That trickles down to us. And we're already blue.
No, you're right about that, man. I mean, if anyone's going to see it first after New York, it's us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing is about do not stop talking. Like if you're from where we're from, if you're from anywhere, Minnesota, New York, all these places where all this crap is happening, definitely do not stop talking. And it has to get to a point where these people get exposed. That's why I don't push on this Epstein stuff as much as, some people do. I just want, if you're not going to release it, then like we were saying before, arrest people. Make sure that other people who are in the front facing, that there's a secret government organization that I don't know these people, or maybe I know some, but not all of them. At least like hold the people accountable that we have seen just commit tyranny and treason. Like start with them, get these people out of our faces, out of our hair, make sure that they never have a voice again, because they had no fucking problem silencing the right. They had no problem deleting the right, pushing the right, getting them out of here. It's their turn. It's their turn to be deplatformed, never to be able to speak again. Strip these other, like these media people that have just pushed lies, MSNBC, CNN, all this legacy media crap. You have even Stephen Colbert's weirdo ass is like, I'm going to start podcasting. It's just like, no, my goal in life now is I have to get more fucking subs than Stephen Colbert. You got to start soon.
You know what sucks about it though? The coin eventually will flip. I mean, I don't see 28 going towards the Democrats at all, but eventually a Democrat president will get elected. And when that happens, unfortunately, all the censorship, all that other BS, it's going to come right back at us. And my whole opinion is go further than Connecticut. Everybody needs to be convinced that to keep our country, we need to keep electing Republicans. Seriously, because the Democrats, I mean, Trump's not kidding. They literally want to destroy the country. They clap if they see something bad happen with the country, right? Like if Trump fails at something or whatever and it hurts the country, they're happy about that because that's a win for them. They don't want America to be great. Notice why notice why in any of their campaign ads they never have American flags. They're never talking about America, American pride, blah blah blah. It's because they don't like America, and a lot of them say it. Like Ilhan Omar, like Mendami said in the past that he doesn't think America is a moral nation. Is something he said once.
Well, he also says death. He He also wants all the Jews to die with globalizing the Intifada.
Yeah.
And like,
I just
I agree, man. I agree. Continue. I want
Yeah,
you to keep cooking.
Yeah, I just think the most important thing is just to keep pushing common sense, to keep going with the 80-20 issues across the board, because that's what's going to keep Republicans in power. That's what's going to keep peace throughout the world. I mean, right now we have, there's Ukraine, there's Israel, but there will be peace. If we keep going down this path, there will be peace, in my opinion. I really think that. The neocons are slowly dying out, right? The establishment Republicans and even some of the Democrats are getting pushed away. I really think that this is a new Republican Party, and we need to maintain that. We need to maintain MAGA even when Trump is gone, so we can keep our country great. That's my opinion.
Mark absolutely cooked on that last part. Let's leave it on that note. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at youtube.com/MAGAMark42, or just search MAGA Mark and I'll pop up. I'm also on X as MAGAMark47, and that's about it. And thank you for having me on, bro. I really enjoyed this.
Dude, I know. We got to do it again. Can't wait to, hopefully we can collab on some more stuff. And it was a pleasure talking to you, brother. That's it for this week's episode. Don't forget, we are back and we're going to keep on trying to put content out there. Don't forget to give us a like, a share, comment, and if you do so, please give us a subscribe. Helps out. We're back, baby. Peace.